Ms. Wara, I shall come to you because I wanted to just touch on inclusion and maybe specifically gender inclusion, and how does, where might you find the difference? Because we know that gender always plays a role in our adaptation or whatever else. Women, traditionally African women, would probably be more exposed to firewood smoke and all the rest of it. So what would you say in seeking solutions and trying to include them? Are they even heads of their households? Do they have a say in the matter? How does it affect them? Do you think it affects them? How much do you think it affects them differently? And how does that impact in our understanding and looking for solutions?
I agree that women have not been included as much in the climate discussions. And it comes from the international space to the regional space, right up to the local space. And the twist to it is when we want to discuss issues to do with the energy access, you cannot discuss energy access without looking at the female gender. You cannot discuss energy access without including a girl child, because the people who, the biggest consumers of energy at a social level are women. Yeah. And so when you talk about commercial energy or social energy, the people who consume it more than anybody is a woman. But then the twist is women are not mostly considered even when we're looking at policy formulation, energy policy formulations. At this point, you don't get women being in the process of collecting of data so that we can have policies that address a question that has the biggest consumers having been part of that decision making. Yeah, and so when we're even talking about forest conservation, so that we talk about carbon sequestration, we still do not think about women. And to give a relevance to what the first questions you asked about, indigenous knowledge, women are the ones who hold the indigenous knowledge in forest conservation more than anybody, because we use the forest to get traditional medicine. We use the forest to get fuel wood. We use the forest to know where we have the cleanest water. Yeah. So even as we're looking at how best do we protect our forests, the first person we should go to, and yet we don't, are the women. And this brings me to the question of water protection of water towers. Also, that is a part that we need to harness the knowledge of women, indigenous or not, because it is the woman who will go 7 or 8 kilometers to go look for water. So she knows how important it is for her to protect the natural water stream, or protect the nearest water towers, or even how to manage it, because she does not want to take a lot of time looking for water while she would take that time managing her business. So what I'm trying to say is that even one of the things I usually do is that when I want to teach adaptation mitigation, I don't use those terms because they're too complicated, especially at the local level. I use the terms that people will understand. I say, because there was flooding last year, what can we do so that we protect ourselves before it happens? So that is mitigation. And then now it has happened. Our harvesting season has passed. So what can we do? So that is adaptation. So when you want to talk about adaptation mitigation, or even policy formulation in places of service delivery within the climate sector, women are the sources that we should be tapping into.